I was born and raised here in Norway. I have a beautiful wife and 3 amazing kids. And if you look at me now, it might look like I've always had it together, but that's so far from the truth. My story starts with struggle. Struggle in school, struggle to fit in, and struggle to just finish the easiest of assignments. While other kids sat down, focused, and finished their assignments, I just stared at the page, restless, distracted, and just plain frustrated. And the harder I tried, the more it slipped away. And when you don't feel you belong, you start to drift away. And I drifted into the wrong company, and I made mistakes I wish I never made. And those choices had consequences. Some follow me for years. For a long time, my life was built around these cycles of depression, anxiety, and self-destructive patterns that brought me further down every time. I wanted to change, but I didn't know how. I tried, but it never made it work. That's probably one of the hardest things with undiagnosed ADHD, because you start to blame yourself. You think it's your fault. You may think you're just lazy, or maybe unmotivated, or broken. I can't count the number of times I've asked myself, why can't I just do what everyone else seems to do so easily in their lives? Why can't I just focus, start something, keep it going, and finish like a normal person? And when you ask yourself those questions long enough, you may start to believe you're not good enough. And that's probably the dark side, and that's where self-doubt grows. My turning point wasn't some dramatic happening. It wasn't some overnight miracle. It was something small, almost ordinary. Before I started in the military, I got this work at a school. And there I was assigned to work with a couple of kids with ADHD. And there something happened. When I looked at them, when I watched how they moved, saw the way they were struggling, and all of their thought patterns in behavior, I was like looking into a mirror from when I was little. Every piece of behavior I saw in them, I had lived myself. Every challenge I saw in them, I recognized in my own story. And that's probably when I realized maybe there was more to my story than just failure. Maybe there was a reason for it all. And maybe there's an explanation. So I went to the doctor, and after 15 hours with a psychiatrist, hours of questions, stories, testing and reflection, I finally got my answer. ADHD. For most people, a diagnosis like this feels like a label. But for me, it was freedom, it was clarity, it was finally knowing that I am not broken. My brain just works differently. And instead of fighting against it blindly, I could now start working with it. That moment though didn't solve everything, but it gave me a map. And for the first time in my life, I felt like I had the chance to actually move forward. I didn't just want to survive with ADHD, I wanted to know it. I wanted to understand everything. So I studied. I learned and studied everything. I studied behavior, I studied developmental psychology. I went deep into everything I could at the university. And most importantly, I applied it. Every strategy, every insight, every new piece of knowledge I tested in my life. And slowly things changed. I built habits, I created systems, I learned to regulate myself. I fell down many times. But I also learned to get up again and again. And step by step, I moved forward. And after 15 years of doing that work, of growing, of failing and rising again, that's a plane. I can finally stand here today and say with certainty, I am now in charge of my life. Not perfect, not cured, but in charge. And for me, that's everything. And that's why I'm here. That's why I've started this channel. Because I know actually what it feels like to live in chaos with ADHD. I know what it feels like waking up feeling already behind. I know what it feels like to carry the weight of anxiety and self-doubt, and the feeling that you'll never measure up to the rest of them. But I also know what it feels like to climb out, to build something real, to find balance, to discover that growth isn't just possible, it's inevitable. When you learn how to work with your brain instead of against it. I don't want to just sit at my desk, put my camera up and tell you how to do it, how to live your life with ADHD and just give you all information you need but don't know how to apply. I want to show you, and I'm going to live this life out loud with every up and down in my life and every win and loss. Because you deserve more than just advice, you deserve proof. So this channel isn't just about ADHD and it isn't just about self-growth. It's about resilience. It's about building a life worth living, even if you felt broken, lost, or behind. Because life with ADHD isn't about becoming normal. It's about building a life worth remembering.